Hi, this is Dr. Kate, and today we're going to do the podcast on grounding. A few weeks ago, I posted something to the group that asked if you had done grounding that day, and a lot of people were like, what is grounding? So I thought it would be good to give you a brief description. And I also just received a pair of shoes from a company that I've used in the past, and I love their stuff, and they are grounding footwear. When I originally sought the brand out, I was looking for minimalist sandals because I was getting into wearing minimalist footwear, Vivo barefoot, and that kind of thing during the winter months, and I hate wearing shoes in the summer. So I wanted to find a sandal, and a lot of times I struggle with finding sandals that aren't flip-flops and that are fully attached to your foot, that don't have a very heavy sole with a big arch and that kind of thing. So I was looking for a minimalist sandal, and what I mean by that is super flexible sole and a wide footbed, and something that held onto your foot. Because with flip-flops, we tend to grip with our toes, and that is going to alter the biomechanics from that end standpoint. And we've done, podcasts in the past on minimalist footwear. So these are Earth Runner shoes, sandals, and they are great for avoiding that clawing effect of the toes with flip-flops. And I've loved them. I've used them for a couple years now, and they sent me this new pair that's actually much thinner than the pair I had before, and I think I like the thinner sole better. So they're great in the respect of the minimalist footwear. I would just be cautious of wearing these for long periods of time until you build up your foot strength so that you're used to not having a built-up arch to artificially hold your foot up. So slowly work into it and build up your foot strength before you go on a long hike or run in these. And if you're having a plantar fascia issue, plantar fasciitis, or tarsal tunnel syndrome, I'd probably wait until you get that under control before you hop into using these. But once you are strong and not having an active issue, these are great to use. So once I got these back in 2020, they also had the benefit of having this copper plug at the bottom there. So why would you have a copper piece of whatever on the sole of your shoe? It is helping you to ground into the Earth's electromagnetic frequency. So not only does it have the copper piece here, in the straps of the sandal are two stainless steel threads that then wrap around your foot and conduct the electromagnetic frequency of the Earth to your body. Why does that matter, and why do we care? The Earth has this resonance, or this frequency, that's called the Schumann Resonance, that has a distinct peak at 7.83 hertz. That matches the frequency of brainwaves associated with meditation, inner calm, healing, and mindfulness and creativity. So those are all things, if you look back in all the 50 plus podcasts we've done, we touch on in, how it affects our physical health. So we've got, the meditation aspect. I've been really terrible at my meditation practice. I'm not going to lie to you lately. It's been super stressful, a lot on my plate, but it's definitely something I know that benefits me and I need to get back to. But if you can create that same frequency that you're creating in meditation through grounding yourself and absorbing the frequency of the Earth, that seems like a no-brainer to add into your routine. And even more key would be the healing. If you can match up frequency with optimal healing, that would be so beneficial for my patients that have chronic issues. So chronic headaches, migraines, chronic autoimmune issues, arthritis, any kind of disease process has an inflammatory component to it. So inflammation is huge in how we feel and how we move through life. So if we can do something so simple as getting more body contact to the ground, the earth, that seems like a no-brainer. And if you look back through the decades, we have made this subtle shift from foraging, farming, working, probably being barefoot a lot of the times, hands in the actual dirt ground, not asphalt, not concrete, but the grass, the moss, the dirt, those kind of things. We spent a lot more time outside and touching Mother Nature than we do now, at least for myself. You know, it depends on your profession, but even think about kids. They are forced into an indoor setting for long, long periods of time. In school and then studying afterwards. They might come home, do more homework and that kind of thing. Are they ever really getting that much outdoor time in the school year, going from possibly school to homework to sports? Do they get outside? Do they touch the ground unless their sport is outside? And then if they're doing a sport outside, are they touching the ground, or are they insulated by rubber-soled shoes? Because if you're wearing a rubber-soled shoes, you're not absorbing that electromagnetic frequency of the earth. So we went from olden days where we were physically touching the earth way more to wearing rubber shoes, spending mass amounts of time inside, and then to take it even a step further, working against us, we have the increase of being constantly bombarded with non-native electromagnetic frequencies. So that would be emitted from electronic devices such as cell phones, microwaves, power lines, light bulbs, any electronics that you have in your house. And I don't know about your house, but my house has a truckload of electronic devices. Everybody's got a tablet. My husband and I work on computers. We have multiple monitors and wireless printer and our Wi-Fi and smart TVs and Ring doorbells and Nest smoke detectors in every room and Nest cams in the kids' rooms. We have just so much electronic stuff happening in our house. And that's just in my house. And when I go to work, I also have, people sign in and do their paperwork on iPads. We have Wi-Fi, we have wireless printers, we've got, a computer in every room. We wear AirPods, all those different things that are emitting these waves that are working against that frequency produced by the earth that promotes calm and better vagal tone. And I would have to think that is part of our shift to the chronic stress that everyone seems to be experiencing from stress of life, but stress of all the outside things that we've added in that we didn't have even 20 or 30 years ago. So there's different ways to ground yourself, and like with the shoes, we've got the copper conduction that you're standing on ground, not asphalt, but grass or dirt, and it's conducted into your body through the stainless steel threads. Or you can go barefoot in the summer, or when it's even remotely nice out. I make my kids go barefoot when they're outside, much to some of their grandparents' dismay, but it has so many other good benefits, and they know that when they're done playing, it's been a good grounding day if their feet are very, very dirty. So we could take a page out of little kids' playbooks by getting a little dirty each day. So you can go barefoot. You could just lie down in your grass. When I don't know, so I make my kids do this with me, and my husband laughs at us, but When is the last time that you lied down in your yard and just touched a lot of surface area? I guess if you garden, that would be a big thing. You know, you're digging through the dirt and stuff, and that's great. I just am really bad at gardening. So that for me is not something that I do, and not a way that I can incorporate it into my routine. But human beings function optimally when we have a slight negative charge, and that would be the same to that of the earth. And that happens naturally when we connect to the earth through that grounding, through bare feet, hands digging in the dirt, lying down in the dirt. That's electron-rich natural rhythms. We've got sunlight, lightning, and the Earth's cycle change. The Earth has an unlimited supply of negative ions, and that unlimited supply of negative ions and us absorbing them plays right into reducing inflammation. And this is going to probably maybe bore some of you, but just a real quick, inflammation is primarily caused by neutrophils, which is just a type of white blood cell the body releases when it detects a pathogen or damaged cell. The neutrophils are sent there where the pathogen or damaged cell is located, encapsulates it, then releases a reactive oxygen molecule. Now, that reactive molecule is missing an electron, so it needs an electron to fill it, and that takes it from a healthy cell, and then it starts the process all over, giving you that chronic inflammation. So how do you combat that? We need an extra surplus of these negative electrons, and that we can get that from grounding, or from, the natural grounding, trying to touch the earth. And some people also use the grounding mats, grounding sheets that you can use inside. And I live in Pennsylvania, so it's easy to do right now. It's beautiful out. It's nice to be outside. But in the winter, it can be done. I have friends that do it in the snow. I hate to be cold. I'm really going to have to work on that, but I am going to make that one of my goals, to, even on the days, some of my days are exceptionally long on my days to treat patients, and I leave the house at 7 and I don't get back until 10 or 11. So I'm not home to see much sunlight, and I usually don't wake up super early because I've gone to bed really late, but and I don't have time in the middle of my day to go outside, and we don't have a lot of dirt or grass around my office. So what I need to make a concerted effort with is getting outside before I leave and just touching the ground for at least, so many minutes before I move on with my day, because my day is devoid of natural sunlight and contact with the earth, and I am bombarded with electronic stuff in my office all day long. So that is something that I need to do, and you could try to make those shifts throughout your bad, busy days as well, because it would be nice to get some of that grounding in each day rather than leaving it just to stock up on other days. The other thing that really piqued my interest again in grounding, even though I've heard of it, for years and years, is that the help with the benefit of it and sleeping. So that's something I've struggled with since having kids, and it helps with your circadian rhythm and locking into nature and that natural sleeping process. The other thing that they have associated grounding with is pain reduction, also due to your inflammation processes, and expedited wound healing, which is going to be great and necessary for me as I have a surgery coming up. And who doesn't want to speed up delayed onset muscle soreness, or helping yourself and your immune system in a natural, easy, free way? And then there's also some studies that show that earthing or grounding has been shown to increase the surface charge of the red blood cells, and then that helps with viscosity and clumping, so it makes them move more smoothly. So just interesting things from a super simple, I feel like everything that people put out there as healthy for you costs a lot of money, and this is an interesting one because it costs nothing. I suppose it would cost something if you went and got like the grounding mat or grounding blankets and that kind of thing, or you know, the shoes, but you can do it just for free, and you can make your kids do it, because little kids get inflamed and get stressed too. I see it in my office. It is a thing. They're not in an insulated bubble that totally takes away all their stress. They have worries, and they hear us when we're not realizing it. My husband and I were talking about the food shortages, you know, that are supposed to be on the horizon, and I had no idea that my daughter was even in earshot, and she had mentioned the next night, so she had been thinking on it and letting it brew, and she said, I really need you, she made a list, and she said, I really need you to get extras of these favorite things of mine before the food shortages start. Oh my gosh. So she's 5, and that is not something a 5-year-old should have to worry about, but they worry about stuff too. So grounding is good, not just for the adults, but for all ages. I even saw, and it's one of the things I was looking at, they did a thing with putting a grounding patch on preemies in the NICU, because there's so much electronics and going on in a NICU that it puts them in a well, basically more of a sympathetic state, and to help shift them from that sympathetic to parasympathetic state, they used grounding patches and saw positive effects from it. So that is pretty cool too. So not just for adults, but for everyone. But for the shoes, if you want to be out in your yard and you hate being barefoot and you want a better biomechanic sandal than your flip-flops with that toe clawing, I would try earthrunners.com, and you can use, they gave me a code, I think, for 10% off, and it's Dr. Kate 10, so DRKATE 10. And I really love these. I've been using them for years. And if you have any questions about grounding, I am by no means an expert, but I will try to find the answer for you. And if you have anything to add, let me know. Have a great one.